folks.
All right, folks, it is Monday. Joining you right here on Dr. King Day. Despite the tragic situation with Alabama men's basketball involving one Darius Miles, our thoughts and prayers here at TDA out to the family of Miss Harris, the young woman who lost her life in the tragedy that happened over the weekend. But we're here to break down Alabama football right here. Hottest show on the streets, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. As always, bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you go ahead, you hit that subscribe button right now. Get every friend, every family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Crimson Tide football to subscribe as well, because if you're feeling the conversation, they will also. Don't forget to leave a like on the show. Run that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Give a like on the show. Show that support. Trying to get this to 50 likes out the gate. You know what time it is. We appreciate you guys. The daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat going $100 right there. All donations welcome and appreciated. Be sure to turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing. You miss absolutely nothing when it comes down to your Crimson Tide football alerts, news, information, just what's going on in terms of your favorite football program. We also want to hear from you, the Bama fans, tonight. Line us up. Call in 205-448-1358, number to dial to let your voice be made known here on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. Got my man Eli Walker here in the production studio right now. And Eli, we're getting to topic number one here of the conversation, and that being Coach Saban starting to kind of get that ball rolling in terms of the defensive coaching staff, making those alterations, changes, adjustments, trying to get the ball rolling a little bit. Now, offensively, still waiting on what becomes of Bill O'Brien. He's not expected to remain on staff, especially with his contract expiring after next month. But at least defensively, we are starting to see the ball roll here in terms of the defensive coaching staff. We got the news last week. Pete Golding exiting stage left. No longer the defensive coordinator for Alabama after 5 seasons. He goes to Oxford, Mississippi, teaming up with Lane Kiffin and the Rebels. And over the weekend, been in conversations with multiple sources, credible guys that have gotten this source down to the best that they know how to, in terms of how could Alabama's defensive coaching staff potentially look in terms of this spring and most importantly next season. So how could this defensive coaching staff potentially look here for Alabama? The number one main thing so far is Bama has gotten a defensive coach on staff, and that being one Austin Armstrong from Southern Mississippi. He served as the defensive coordinator and the inside linebackers coach there for the Golden Eagles. Under his tenure, Southern Miss made big improvement. When you talk about this past season, the Golden Eagles finished in the top 5 for sacks with 44 at number 5 in the country. And the inside linebacker play for Southern Miss, I mean, those guys were shooting gaps. They were shooting in the hole. They were playing with a lot of energy, a ton of fire, making plays in the backfield. Over half the sacks and over half the tackles for loss for Southern Miss came from their inside linebacker position. That tells you Armstrong knows how to coach that particular spot. The good thing is you're not asking him to do a whole lot. You're just asking him, hey, coach the inside linebackers. That's your role. That's your whole ordeal. That's what we're putting on you, to do. So thankfully, not being asked to do just an awful amount, but he's on campus now, coaching the inside linebackers, or expected to coach the inside linebackers for the Crimson Tide. So you got Austin Armstrong on the campus. So in terms of just, in terms of just the hot names for defensive coordinator, we already kind of gotten those guys now in terms of who would replace Pete Golding, of the three hottest names, that being Glenn Schumann of Georgia, that being Jeremy Pruitt, formerly of Tennessee, that started this thing off for the University of Alabama, and of course Jim Leonhard, of whom is at Wisconsin right now for the Badgers, former player, now a coach there on that staff. Those are the three hottest names here being targeted: Leonhard, Schumann, and Jeremy Pruitt. Now, in terms of the structure here of how this could look like for Alabama, and what's being told to me, defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann's the name right now. That's the guy everybody's talking about. Glenn Schumann in terms of defensive coordinator. He started off his career as a student assistant, grad assistant for the Crimson Tide from 2008 to 2014. He saw the process. He saw how Nick Saban orchestrated, operated, sat there at the feet of Nick Saban, much like Kirby Smart. Schumann and Smart were both at Alabama at the same time. Glenn Schumann witnessed national championships in 2009, 2011, and 2012 as a graduate assistant. Now in 2015, Schumann became the director of football operations, where he saw another national championship for the Tide. He would join Kirby Smart at Georgia in 2016, and he's been able to help out with back-to-back national championships for the Bulldogs. That's just Glenn Schumann. But you look at Jim Leonhard, started off his career as a player for the Wisconsin Badgers. He actually was a walk-on. Walked on, played from 2002 to 2004, 2001 to 04. And from 2002 to 04, he was three-time first-team All-Big Ten, three-time All-American, ended his career with 21 interceptions, and has quickly risen up the coaching ranks. I mean, his defense at Wisconsin have been some strong groups, have been some strong units. Currently, the interim head coach for the Badgers prior to Wisconsin getting their head coach, in there. That's Jim Leonhard, an aggressive guy, an energy guy. And then for Jeremy Pruitt, this is kind of the beloved son, if you will, of Alabama football. I mean, for Pruitt, the guy, every high school in the state of Alabama highly respects Pruitt because he's coached at quite a bit of them. So he has built those relationships with those young players. He played at the University of Alabama, so that's a big deal there for Jeremy Pruitt. And then, in terms of him being a coach at Bama, started off his career 2007 to 2009. He was a player development guy in an off-field role under Coach Saban. And then 2010 to 2012, Pruitt got on the field as a defensive backs coach, primarily with safeties. We saw him do some big things with Ha-Ha Clinton Diggs and Robert Lester, among others. And then, he would leave, and then he would come back to Alabama to serve as a defensive coordinator, where he was there from 2016 to 2017 with those outstanding defenses there, including that 2016 defense that was just completely entertaining for Bama fans across the landscape. So what I'm being told is Pruitt is going to be back to serve in some capacity for Alabama. A lot of people want him to be the defensive coordinator, but he could come back to serve as either a defensive analyst or as a position coach. But in terms of what I've been told and how the coaching staff defensively could potentially look, here we go right here on screen, so check this out. How this could look, we could have Glenn Schumann as Alabama's defensive coordinator, everybody talking about Schumann, everybody bringing him into the conversation. He looks like he's the number one target for defensive coordinator just because, Saban at 71 years of age wants to bring somebody in that knows his system, knows his style, knows the process, knows the culture, knows the mindset of being at Alabama, and bringing in somebody that you don't have to do a whole bunch of teaching to. You can kind of bring them in, give them the whole thing, and as Coach Saban, you can kind of be the CEO, macro, micro management, if you will. So Glenn Schumann would provide you with that. If you're Coach Saban and you make that move, sort of having the grown-up in the room that understands what your whole makeup is, that could be right there for Glenn Schumann. Behind him, Austin Armstrong is expected to coach inside linebackers. That will be his role. Excelled at it at Southern Miss. Can he be able to do it at Alabama? That's the big thing. But he's expected to coach inside linebackers. That's what I've been told here. In terms of outside linebackers, this could be interesting. Coleman Hutzler is not expected to be back. So you would have either Sal Sunseri being put back on the field to coach outside linebackers, or do you put Freddie Roach in that role right there? So depending on what becomes of Coleman Hutzler, he's not expected to return. He's not expected to be brought back. So it could be either Sal Sunseri in that role or Freddie Roach in that role for outside linebackers. When you look at defensive linemen, it could be Freddie Roach in that role, or some small rumblings of could Alabama bring back Bo Davis for that role. You talk about a homecoming out this world if Saban gets Bo Davis back in here. There's been some small conversation about that. Nothing been confirmed, but just some small conversation about that in terms of Bo Davis. But Freddie Roach still currently the defensive line coach as of right now. Travaris Robinson is expected to remain as a cornerbacks coach, especially after what he did with Kool-Aid McKinstry this past season. And with the talent that's returning at that cornerback position, you got to feel like T-Rob is going to continue to elevate that position group right there. So T-Rob expected to remain there as cornerbacks coach. As safeties coach, here is where Jeremy Pruitt be the on-field guy. Here is where that could be right there. Especially with Charles Kelly going to Colorado to team up with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. Jeremy Pruitt got his start in terms of on-field coaching as a safeties coach for the Crimson Tide, 2010 to 2012, helping Alabama win back-to-back national championships in 2011 and 2012. So, in this capacity, Jeremy Pruitt, safeties coach, I can flat out see it. But this is how it's being told to me, what I'm hearing, how Alabama's defensive coaching staff could potentially shake out. Can it end up this way? We shall see, but this is how it's been pointed out here to me. But the main thing is Coach Saban is starting to kind of get that ball going, get that ball rolling in terms of the defense, wanting to get that back nasty, wanting to get that back dominant, wanting to get that back tenacious, wanting to get that back to playing an elite physical style of football. So that's just how a defensive coaching staff could project, could look potentially in discussing spring football and next season. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting you started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. We'll be back with you after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back into the action here from the break on a Monday, Dr. King Day, and getting that work week started off for you correctly on the hottest show on the streets, bringing you that Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Folks, on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here on TDA's YouTube channel, you got to check out the Bama Standard with my guys, Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker, Bama legend Marvin Constant, also USFL champion, two-time national champion Bo Scarborough, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. You want the laughs, the excitement, the fun, you got to check out the Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. Gotta shout out Jamie Wilhelm with that $4.99 in the super chat, showing love right there in the bucket. Also, Brian Watson dropping in his $4.99 as well, helping us out right here. Continue sending in those donations, all donations, welcome and appreciate it. Hit that like button, run those likes up. Show that support, making this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space. Trying to hit this 50 likes plus out the gate right here. Thank you guys hitting that like button on the show. 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. The number right there. Now, Jamie William had a question, and that was about Glenn Schumann. Is he more than just a recruiter? He's trying to get, I guess, the upgrade from Pete Golding. Glenn Schumann helps with that defensive game planning with Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp. Reason behind him being co-defensive coordinator. So Glenn Schumann helps out with the scheming, helps out with the game tape, helps out with putting the strategy together, putting the news and notes and formations, all of that in line for that Georgia defense. So Schumann plays a role bigger than recruiting. No recruiting starts all of this. We're going to go take our call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, my main man. It's Greg from New Jersey, Long Branch, that is. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, Greg, and yourself?
Amen. Bless the Lord. We're here for another day to chat.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a
Absolutely.
question. I got a question for you. This is what I'm hearing from a few people down in Mississippi. That I hear T-Rob might be interested in going there or vice versa. It's an Ole Miss. What do you think?
I haven't heard anything on T-Rob going to Ole Miss. Coach Saban really likes T-Rob, wants to keep him around to coach. He wants to keep him around to coach these corners, especially after the improvement he helped Kool-Aid McKinstry have just this past season. And when you got guys like Earl Little Jr. coming up and Caleb Downs coming up in here, among others, I'm pretty sure Saban likes to keep a firm grip on T-Rob because he can really be a really good corners coach.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a little concerned about that. I didn't know if you heard or you didn't heard, but, I'm a little concerned about that one, Stephen.
I haven't heard anything. Go ahead.
I'm just saying I hope it isn't true because we're gonna have a young team next year in the backfield, and let's keep it real. We need T-Rob back there. Don't get me wrong. I know Coach Saban controls it, but T-Rob's the man. He's the youth. He gets these guys juiced.
He does,
and they're ready to go. So we need him. I'm a little concerned. I just hope it isn't true. That's all.
I mean, absolutely, Greg. I haven't heard anything on T-Rob heading elsewhere. If something was to come up, I will get that information out there. But I have heard nothing. So as far as I know, T-Rob's in pocket to remain at Alabama.
Amen. All right. That's all my call was for. And have a blessed night, Stephen. And thank you for a great show as usual.
Absolutely. Appreciate Greg calling in there from New Jersey, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. Now, Eli, we all know coaching is a fraternity, so coaches talk. They talk, they have conversations. Hey, I'm taking this job. Would you like to join me at this job right here? However, I've heard nothing on Travaris Robinson. So as far as I know, he's still in pocket to remain here under Coach Saban where the Crimson Tide are concerned. And after seeing, like I mentioned, Kool-Aid McKinstry had 15 pass breakups a season ago. A lot of that was T-Rob's coaching and development and training. And when you're bringing in guys like Earl Little who can play corner, Terrion Arnold who can play corner, guys like Tony Mitchell, guys like Jaleel Hurley, guys like Christian Story, you've got so much defensive back talent, primarily at corner, would like to have a guy that knows that position remain at Alabama. So as far as I know, Travaris Robinson not leaving the program as of right now. So, but cool call topic right here. We go to Tua Tagovailoa, of whom before Tua Tagovailoa, my bad, we go to my man Austin Armstrong, of whom it's official on Twitter. Austin Armstrong, his profile picture on Twitter is the Alabama script A. So he's making that official that he's at Alabama. The part of the coaching staff, part of the capstone, part of the Nick Saban defensive coaching staff. So if you go on his Twitter right now, Austin Armstrong's Twitter, it's the scripted A that is his profile photo. And once again, what I've been told, he's expected to coach inside linebackers for the Crimson Tide, taking over there for one Pete Golding, who is now at Ole Miss coaching the Rebels. So hopefully we can see elevated play from Deontay Lawson, Kendrick Blackshire, Demoy Kennedy, Jahad Campbell, Sean Murphy, the whole inside linebacker room, with Austin Armstrong being the head of that positional unit right there. So check out his Twitter right now. Profile picture, the Alabama scripted A. So Armstrong, he's 10 toes down in Tuscaloosa, helping out with the recruiting the recruiting trail here, committed to helping this inside linebacker play get back to being elite. We take a break right here, folks. We'll touch that down. When we get back, we discuss the names that are rising offensively that could replace Bill O'Brien at Alabama. We'll talk about that after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith here of TDA. Continue, people, hitting that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Give a like on the show. We're at 64 likes. Let's get this thing to 100. Hit that like button. Give a like right there on the show. Also, that daily Super Chat goal, $100. Daily Super Chat goal right there. All donations welcomed. All donations appreciated. We thank you guys making this your spot to talk Bama football. But right now, we get into this second topic right here of conversation, Eli, and this goes to the offensive side of the ball here in terms of who takes over at the offensive coordinator spot to replace Bill O'Brien. We know that O'Brien's contract ends after next month. It expires after next month. There's been so much conversation about O'Brien to the New England Patriots. he's the number one team. That's the number one team being linked to him is New England. Everywhere you turn, whether it's a new NFL insider, a new Patriots insider, a different ESPN insider, Bill O'Brien's being linked squarely to New England Patriots. And I know for a lot of you as Bama fans, it's okay, so at what point does Bill O'Brien come get him? What does Bill Belichick come get him, right? If he's been linked to New England, if he's been linked by all of these people to the Patriots, at what point does Bill Belichick come on down here and make the move? So we're just patiently waiting, like we're waiting on a blood test here in terms of O'Brien and New England. But the names that could potentially replace O'Brien here, and this goes back to all the conversations I have had with credible people to this point in sourcing these things out on the hot board. Here are the names right here. So kind of your 1A and 1B, Joe Brady and Jeff Lebby are your 1A and your 1B. Your 2, Dan Mullen, and your 3 is a wild card, and a guy that's already on staff, Joe Cox, the tight ends coach. So 1A and 1B, Joe Brady and Jeff Lebby. Either one of these two brings massive creativity to Alabama's offense. All you guys say with Joe Brady, 2019 LSU. Bama fans are like, we need that. We need that. Go get that. What Joe Brady did, one season at LSU, Tigers averaged, 48.4 points per game? Yeah. Joe Burrow near 6,000 passing yards, over 5,800 passing yards with 60 touchdown passes. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, over 1,400 yards rushing. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, both over 1,000 yards receiving. Thaddeus Moss, Terrace Marshall Jr. were big time in the offense as well. LSU had several guys from that offense be first-round picks. Why? Because Joe Brady set that all in motion. LSU, SEC championship that year, national championship that season. So that's 1A. 1B is Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby, extreme offensive mind when you look at what he did at Baylor, what he did at Central Florida, what he did at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, helping out Matt Corral and helping their run game with whether it was Jerrion Ealy, Snoop Connor, Matt Corral. Ole Miss averaged over 5 yards a carry rushing with Jeff Lebby. Lebby with guys like Elijah Moore and Dontario Drummond at wide receiver, made big plays. Lebby was big for Ole Miss's offense. Creativity, balance, eye candy, making things happen. And so this past season with Oklahoma, Lebby helping Dylan Gabriel, 3,000-yard quarterback, helping Eric Gray, 1,000-yard running back, helping Marvin Mims Jr., 1,000-yard receiver. So Jeff Lebby and Joe Brady, or Brady and Lebby, however you want to call it, they're both 1A and 1B. They're both right there with each other in terms of the top two for Alabama offensive coordinator, potentially replace Bill O'Brien. So the number 2 guy would be Dan Mullen. In a sense of, he just has a way with taking quarterbacks that were not necessarily highly recruited, but getting the most out of them. Alex Smith was not highly recruited when he went to Utah, but Dan Mullen got the most out of him, and he became, an NFL guy after leaving Utah. You look at Florida, Tim Tebow, Dan Mullen took him, made him a Heisman Trophy winner in 2007. Dan Mullen helped Tim Tebow, national championship two-time national champion in 2006 and 2008. When you look at Mississippi State, he took Dak Prescott and Nick Fitzgerald. Not necessarily the highest recruited people in the world, but he took Dak Prescott, got the most out of him, put him in the NFL. He took Nick Fitzgerald, got the most out of him. When you look at Florida in his second stint, didn't really go as well as he would have liked for it to go, but Dan Mullen, in a nutshell, he takes athletic, mobile, dual-threat quarterbacks and he makes something positive out of them. And when you look at Jalen Milroe, if you were to put a Dan Mullen with a Jalen Milroe, something special could pop there. There's potential for it. It could pop there. So there's Dan Mullen. The wild card is Joe Cox, who's on staff as Alabama's tight ends coach. I'm not saying Joe Cox gets the job, but Nick Saban did say that Cox is the brightest offensive mind he's been around. And that's big praise when you look at Nick Saban's been around Steve Sarkisian, been around Lane Kiffin, been around Brian Dable, he's been around Mike Loxley, he's been around quite a few bright minds. But he calls Joe Cox the brightest young offensive mind he's been around. So, with that being said, Cox was a quarterback at Georgia, played behind Matthew Stafford. So you got that there as a feather in the cap. He did help Cameron Latu make him some NFL draft money with Latu's performance this past season. Working with developing Amari Niblack, Danny Lewis Jr., Miles Kitselman, Robbie Oots. You got C.J. Dupre from Maryland, transfer tight end coming in here. So Cox has got a lot to work with the tight end room. That's the reason why I don't see him getting the job as the offensive coordinator. But it is interesting that his name is being thrown out there. But those are the names there. When you look at Joe Brady, Jeff Lebby as your 1A and 1B, Dan Mullen as your strong 2, and then your wild card, Joe Cox, if Alabama looks in that direction. There's also been some people throwing Holman Wiggins' name out there for offensive coordinator. He is the longest holdover offensive coach from Alabama's 2019 coaching staff. However, more people want to see, can he produce more with these wide receivers? You can look at the spring and next season, but we'll see how the ball gets rolling on the offensive staff. But these are the names that were shared with yours truly. We take another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, baby. When we get back, we return to you, the Alabama football fans, with your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. What's on your mind? We get to you after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We have Cha-Cha Slide our way back in here from the break. Hottest show on the streets here. Talking Crimson Tide football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Continue hitting that like button, dropping those likes, that thumbs up, that love right here on the show. We appreciate you guys. All donations welcome. All donations appreciated. That daily super chat go, $100 right there. Thanks to all of you, the fans, making this your outlet to check out Bama football. Also tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on the TDA YouTube channel. You gotta tune into the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC legend, Bama legend, linebacker Marvin Constant, USFL champion, two-time national championship running back Bo Scarborough. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, streaming right here. TDA YouTube channel, the Bama Standard, on tomorrow. Marvin Constant has got his own thoughts there on Pete Golden. You definitely want to check that out. But we go to the phone lines now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. 1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen. This is Peter from Florida. How you doing?
Doing great, man. And yourself?
Good, man. Thanks for all your podcasts, and I listened to the one with you and Justin from the other day. That was really good too. Good insight, but I took away is it's interesting. I would know this as a common fan that Pruitt is willing to accept potentially lesser than a DC role being a coach of the safety, potentially a defensive analyst. So that was good to know. I think that my first get or want with that in consideration would be Schumann. And I think, honestly, if you think succession plan, if knock on wood, this is a big knock on wood.
We can't quite understand you, Joe. We can't quite understand what you. Can you speak just a little bit? Speak up just a little bit.
You there?
Yes, I'm here. We couldn't quite understand you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, that's better. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
So first off, my man, can I get your name?
Yeah. Sorry, Peter from Jay.
All right, Peter. Okay, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah. So I like Schumann as potential next head coach, and it's a big if, right? But if you think succession plan after Saban leaves, if he does work out, considering that he's an alum, and you have someone like you guys mentioned before, schooled under Kirby and Nick Saban for an extended amount of time, it's a really good potential get. And I think Pruitt on the other end of that too, you guys pointed out on a podcast as well that he'd be open to being a defensive analyst or a safeties coach. To get a 2-for-1 out of that would be absolutely clutch for Alabama. And let's be honest, right? If Pruitt wasn't technically by title the DC, in practice every single day, he would have the same motivation and effect as a DC getting in those guys' faces, just like Schumann, right? So I think that would be huge. I did want to point out, and I'm in agreement with Joe Brady being a primary option for the OC, but I did just want to note that he was indeed not the OC on that 2019 LSU team, but he was the receivers coach and passing game coordinator, correct?
He was the receivers coach and the passing game coordinator, but Brady's concepts within that offense get a lot of the credit. Yes, Steve Ensminger was earned the title of OC, but a lot of the concepts that Joe Brady brought over from the New Orleans Saints credited with the success of LSU.
I gotcha. Yeah, so definitely a good option. That's the only, he's never been an OC in college, technically, but you're right. There's a lot of pros of what he did conceptually. And then he was OC in the NFL for 2 years. He has that experience for the Panthers. And I think for me, Mullen, you hit this spot on. Mullen with Milroe would be a fantastic. However, Milroe's not going to be there forever, even if Mullen becomes the guy, right? And traditionally, Bama does not have dual threat QBs that can run and throw to the likes of a Dak Prescott, Tebow, Milroe, traditionally, right? They have guys that are mobile, and this is excluding Hurts recently. But other than that, so really you would potentially have to change up your whole recruitment around the type of QB that you want to recruit. It's no more traditional McElroy, McCarron, Tua type of thing if you bring a guy in like that post-Milroe. Did you mention before as well on a podcast that Bill O'Brien said he thought he did a fine job because they scored 40 points per game?
He thought that. He thought that. I think we lost that call there, but yeah, he's still on the line. He thought that. O'Brien. Yes, the offense productive, but at the same time, there were still moments where the plays they just didn't flow, right? They didn't flow the way it flowed under Lane Kiffin. It didn't flow the way it flowed under Sarkisian. And those two guys, it was like artistry at work with those two. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that O'Brien was just god awful, but at the same time, you felt something missing with O'Brien running the offense versus what it looked like with Sarkisian and Kiffin.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, so I hear you. No, I'm with you totally. What I was going to say is I agree with you. There was something missing. It didn't feel it, and shame on O'Brien for saying, well, I got 40 points a game or whatever he said. He feels good about it. Honestly, think back to when Henry was there, Ingram, Richardson. You weren't – I don't know the average. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I doubt you were scoring 40 points a game. But guess what? You were ramming the ball down other teams' throats for 6 to 8 minute drives. Imposing will. You and Marvin Constant just talked about that the other day. You had teams looking like TCU did against Georgia, right? And under O'Brien on the offensive side, that's been lost. The line doesn't look the same as it did with Barrett Jones, Chance Warmack, any of those guys you can name. I'd rather a team score 25 points, long, drawn-out drives on offense, wear the defense down, and also the other benefit, your defense rests up. It's not 2-minute drives like let's throw some miracles at Bryce Young. It's methodical, and it's a better setup. So shame on O'Brien for not – it's not about points per game. Again, Bama could score 25, 30 points per game and win just by grinding the clock out and playing that hardcore old-school defense. So that's all I had. I appreciate you taking my call.
Appreciate Peter calling in from New York, giving his thoughts on the show. A lot of just conversation about the offensive and defensive coordinator for Alabama. I mean, Pete Golding out as DC. We will see the move that Saban puts in here. Bill O'Brien's contract expires after next month. So many insiders saying Patriots for Bill O'Brien. Belichick, does he make the move here? But we grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and what's on your mind right now.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
Jay's back in here. Jay, what's happening?
Man, Bill ain't got to have no job for us to get him gone, man. Well, why this man got to have a job to leave? His contract over with in February. Hey, bro, go hit the door. Your bag's already packed. It's over with. And I don't care where you go, but you got to get the blank up out of here. Am I wrong for that, Steve? Because y'all trying to get him a job. I don't want him to go over there and mess up my boy Mac. What you gonna ruin his career for? You ruin Bryce? But that's just the angry Bama fan in me, I guess, Steve.
But hey, Jay. I mean, at least so far you got one. You got one so far. I know you're working on two, but you got one so far.
Yeah, man. That man ain't gotta have no job to go, but offensive coordinator, whoever come, man, they just gotta run the ball, man. We gotta, like y'all say, assert dominance, get back to the Bama way, breaking people will. You know what I'm saying? Whoever come gotta understand that. And you got to understand that, man, we got some fast guys that's gonna beat you down the field, man. We gotta see more, deep routes and posts and crosses and all of that stuff, the deep over routes and all that, man. Then we got athletic tight ends of every variety. Like, whatever offensive coordinator we got, he got to understand that it got to go through the run game, and everything else gonna work after that. But defense, man, that defensive coordinator, we need to go and build a whole defensive squad like Georgia got. They got the super Ninja Turtles over there right now on their defense. Am I wrong? Because all them folks got head coaching experience and stuff.
They all do.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't saying we got to necessarily get guys with head coaching experience, but like you say, don't bring Pruitt in as an analyst. You know what I'm saying? Because his name hot. Right now, we don't know if NCAA going to come in here and spank you with a 2-year suspension or you can't talk to recruits for a year. We just don't know. So you hot right now. You need to just come in, be an analyst, you know what I'm saying? Work, like you say, work with the D-line or whatever needed. But you hot, Pruitt. You can't be the coordinator. That's where one thing everybody keep forgetting. Then we got old Carl Scott up there in Seattle. You know, their defense looked pretty good in the secondary and stuff. He know Bama. You know, he's a Nick guy. Go on, bring him back. Help with the DBs. And like you say, I say let Carl Scott and Glenn Schumann have like a co-defensive coordinator role. Both of them guys will be first-time play callers, but you'll have guys that's been coordinators behind them, and Pruitt and this Austin guy, right?
Right.
See what I'm saying? So you done been there. I got somebody I can constantly talk to. I'm constantly talking to. So hey, this first-time play caller, that wouldn't be no issue, honestly. Then you'll be in practice going against the best every day. You see what I'm saying? So that'll help you. But man, Steve, whatever we do, we got to get back to hurting people's feelings, man. I used to like it when old LSU fans used to be like, man, we got to play Bama, man. And Final Four or national championship this year in basketball. What's his name? Brandon Miller, player of the year. And freshman of the year, y'all. That man is outstanding. Roll Tide, y'all. I love y'all.
Appreciate Jay from Florence calling in right there. Even showing some love to the Bama men's basketball team, which rolling right now. Brandon Miller is that dude out there in the court. Nate Oates doing his thing there. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve Renee, man? My name is Maverick, and I'm calling from Florida. And I'm just calling to talk about B.O.B., man. I hear a lot of people talking bad about him, but people forget that he also got Bryce Young a Heisman Trophy. So I just think it's kind of, we kind of throw a little bit too much blame on him instead of looking at the execution by the players. That's all I got for tonight, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate Mavericks thoughts. They're calling in from Florida, and it is a give and take. The players have a responsibility as well as the coaches. The coaches have to call the plays, but it's on the players to execute the route, catch the football, run the right route, get open, work back to Bryce Young. So it's both. The play caller has to call the play that he feels like can best execute against a certain defense, but the players on the field, in this case the wide receivers, you got to run the right route and execute the play and make it work. You got to make it work. Just like in basketball. Bill Jackson had the triangle offense, and he thought the triangle would work, but Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Paxton, Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant, Tony Kukoc, in terms of the Lakers, Shaq, Kobe, Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Robert Horry. Those guys had to make that thing work. They had to make that triangle work. So, same thing here in football. The play callers, yes, they call the plays, absolutely. But the athletes on the field, it's their job. We got to make this system work. We got to make this play call work. Appreciate everybody calling in, giving their thoughts during the show. If you got a thought, 205-448-1358, the number to let your opinion be made known, 205-448-1358 right here. Another call topic, Eli. This one's on Tua Tagovailoa. As of today, the front office for the Miami Dolphins unveiled the future of Tua. And from Chris Greer, general manager, to Mike McDaniel, head coach, Tua Tagovailoa will remain the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. They are sticking with Tua for next season. And be honest, before the injuries happened again, Tua sustaining multiple concussions, he was having a breakout year. Over 3,000 passing yards, 3,548 to be exact, a career high. 25 touchdown passes. Before the medical mishaps occurred, Tua was in the running for league MVP? His name was thrown out there with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes and others for league MVP. So Tua was having a strong year. Tyreek Hill wasn't lying when he was talking about Tua's accuracy. He wasn't joking. Tyreek was telling the truth. Jalen Waddle was having a big year, still had a big year. So despite the injuries, Tua was still doing some things. Miami is assuring people that Tua will be 100% healthy next season and should be able to sustain throughout the whole year. Hopefully he does that, because a healthy Tua is special. Now, I, for one, have stated, hey, Tua, you got a baby, you recently got married, you want to be able to enjoy your life. You do want to be able to enjoy your life. And life goes on past football. We know this also to be true. But I'm also saying, a healthy Tua, big here for the Miami Dolphins and big for the NFL. But Tua knows what he's got to do. The good news in all of this is the Dolphins are not just throwing him to the wolves, right? They are saying, we're invested in Tua, we're all in on Tua, we're sticking with him as our guy. So it's good when the brass of an organization, in this case, your general manager, Chris Greer, and your head coach, Mike McDaniel, for the Dolphins, are both saying we're all in on Tua. So that's a good sign right there. So hopefully, not only he can be fully healthy, but he can be fully healthy, being dynamic, and continuing to grow as a strong talent in this league, according to Tua. We take our final break here, folks. When we get back, we discuss the transfer portal. Should Nick Saban continue to get guys from the portal, especially after only one guy really wowed and impressed fans last year? We'll tidy up loose ends with that after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets here, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man Eli Walker in the production studio. Appreciate everybody hitting that like button, liking the show. All donations welcome and appreciated. That daily Super Chat go, $100 daily Super Chat go right there. Everybody making this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Be reminded that on tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on the TDA YouTube channel, you got the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker, Bama legend Marvin Constant, two-time national champion, USFL champion Bo Scarborough. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, will be right there with you. The Bama Standard streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel, 6 p.m. Central Time. Our own Marvin Constant. He's got his own thoughts about Pete Golding heading to Ole Miss, so you don't want to miss that on tomorrow. But, folks, we look at this NCAA transfer portal, and the bigger question, should Nick Saban continue to pursue the portal, especially after only one guy really popped and wowed and impressed this past season, right? You picked up Tyler Steen from the portal last year. He was all right. He was serviceable. He was okay. You picked up Tyler Harrell from the portal last year, and he didn't play at all, but one game. You're like, were we catfished? Like, Tyler Harrell only had one catch. And now he's transferred again. He's in the portal again. Jermaine Burton was all right. He popped off back half of the season. Does he put a full season together starting the spring? We'll see. You looked at, Henry Toto, decent tenure, fine. The only guy that made you go, oh my goodness, yes, we needed this guy from the portal. He balled out. Was Jahmyr Gibbs, the only guy. The only guy. And he finished with 925 yards rushing, 444 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. The guy led the team in receptions with 42. 44. Gibbs is going to be top 20 draft pick in April. And you got folks looking at O'Brien to say he's still underutilized Gibbs. So, that was the only guy that really, truly popped off from the portal this past season. So you wonder, should Nick Saban continue to pursue the portal, or should Bama go back to just old school recruiting freshmen and developing the talent that you already have? Because, are you going to have another Jamison Williams-like guy? You brought in Malik Benson as a JUCO transfer. I think he can be something really nice here. But in terms of just the portal itself, should Alabama continue to just pursue the portal? Is there a guy out there in the portal that could just knock your socks off? That's just undeniable, that shows it on the field that he's that guy. Richard Mulaney was great in terms of portal before portal even became a thing. Dieter was good out of the portal before portal became a thing. Jacob Coker was good. Landon Dickerson was a godsend. Jamison Williams was otherworldly fantastic, but those were just guys that just had a different mentality coming in here from the portal, right? Those were guys that just came in wanting to take somebody's spot, wanting to step up, be an impact player, fit in where they got in and just wreck shop, right? Is there another guy in the portal that can do that? Or is Alabama just better off recruiting freshmen, bringing them in, developing them, growing them up, and just using that talent to win championships? Because after what we saw this past season from the portal, it just has me think Bama could have played Isaiah Bond a whole lot more. Could have played Kendrick Law a whole lot more. Could have played Kobe Prentice a whole lot more. Could have played Shaz Preston a whole lot more. Burton didn't go off to the latter part of the year. That could have been more time for Law, for Preston, for Bond. We didn't even see Tyler Harrell at all. He made one little catch. That could have been more time for other guys. So, is it worth it this year to pursue the portal? I know Alabama pulled out C.J. Dupre, and hopefully, he gives you something big at tight end. But is it worth pursuing the portal? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. You really don't have a gargantuan need. You really don't. Aside from maybe tight end, there's no reason for Coach Saban to pursue the portal. There's no reason. There's no reason. You got guys at inside linebacker. You got guys at outside linebacker. You're going to have a stack of guys back on the defensive line. You got guys in the secondary. Got wide receivers. You got a slew of running backs in here. Quarterbacks, let Ty Simpson, Milroe, Larnigan, Holstein battle it out for it. There's no reason. You got the kicker and Will Reichert back. There's no reason to pursue the portal. There's no reason. No, unless somebody with the ability of Thanos from the Infinity Wars just emerges in the portal and it's just a no-brainer. You got to get him. Unless Thanos hit the portal, ain't no reason to hit the portal. Ain't no reason. That's just my opinion. Unless everybody from the Avengers unless Captain America, unless Black Panther hits the portal, there's no reason to hit them. And I know I'm naming like characters here, but that's just how I feel. Unless somebody hits the portal that you just gotta have them, and there's no reason at this point for Alabama to pursue the portal, in my opinion. But we'll see how Saban does. Now, I would just like to see a return of just developing players, developing freshmen. You got them in here as 4 and 5 stars. Get them in here, develop them, train them right, get them in strength and conditioning, see what they can do on the field, improve them and grow them. That's what I want to see happen. But in the words of my man Mike McCoy, who am I? Just a guy, Steven, giving my thoughts here on Bama football. But as always, people, you want the news, notes, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can access this by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Now, you get the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I will try to return on Wednesday, continuing the conversation. But it's Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description to try to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine. Here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Guys, shout out you guys, the fans of Bama football, the family right here, for all of the likes, all the calls, all the donations. You doing what you do to make this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama football. Guys, shout out my man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling things behind the scenes right there. Folks, remember the Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands, children. You guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself. Protect the people around you. Till next time, folks, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.